Hey everyone, I'm here again, and today we are opening the structure deck ROKKET REVOLT. And yeah, so this is brand new, and it is quite interesting. We'll see the deck list inside pretty fast, so we don't really need to look at the cover or anything, but this guy is the main monster in here, and this guy is the rival of the current series in Yu-Gi-Oh! Sorry for my voice if it's a little different than usual. I went to a big rock concert yesterday, and that kind of affected my voice. I've been screaming a lot. So yeah, here is the playmat, and it is a nice color. It reminds me of the Speed Duel recent playmats. Here we go. Look at the green on that. So this is the new fusion monster. It is not Borreload. And this is the new boss monster. Okay. There we go. Camera back on its stand. Barely standing up. Okay, there we go. We have the strategies of this deck. I've already opened one copy of this deck. I bought 3. And I do recommend you guys to buy 3 if you want to play Rockets, or if you just want some good reprints. This is also a good occasion. But yeah. This basically just tells you send a bunch of monsters, make some links, like link 4s, and win by attacking with big dragons. That's basically what it says. That's just stupid. Everyone knows that rockets need to go faster than normal if you want to get your big monsters in multiples, and this deck just wants to have one big monster at a time. You won't win if you end your first board with Borreload Dragon, I swear to God, guys. So yeah, you could follow this if you want to start learning the deck, but I would probably recommend you guys watch some YouTubers do some combo videos or stuff. But at least the recommendations aren't horrible. For the Gold Sarcophagus Tins, that's kind of good to have a Raigeki if you're a new player. Otherwise, maybe side deck. Called by the Grave will be a great thing to add, and as you guys can see, the rarities will be secret for all 3 of them. Spoilers! And we have Savage Strike, which is actually good recommendations for at least the 2 first, especially this one, because this deck here contains a level 4 tuner. We have this guy, which is not that good in this deck. This just, I don't quite get why. This is decent. This, of course, is a okay stall card, and you can use your opponent's monsters to link up, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, anyways, let's get into the deck, which is the reason why you guys are here. We're not here to look at a mat. We have a structure deck ROKKET REVOLT beginner's guide, so the rulebook, and the deck. The deck. Not any deck, the ROKKET REVOLT deck. So yeah. Basically, we have a lot of foils in this one. I was not expecting this many foils, but there are, I believe, 7 foils, which is ridiculous. I'm trying to think back, but I only remember like 5 foils for previous decks. And even then, when I was younger, it was only 1. So, you know, whatever. No, wait, it wasn't 1, it was 2 or 3. Anyways, we have Topologic Zeroboros, which is the new boss monster. Honestly, it's okay. It's not great, but it's not bad. It only needs 2 materials to go into it, so contrarily to the other Boral cards, because this card isn't Boral, but anyways, contrarily to Boral cards, you don't need 3 monsters minimum, so that's kind of good. But you cannot summon set monsters to any extra monster zone this card points to. So obviously you don't want him up top. You want it down low. And at that point, that means you have another monster on your field. And if another monster is special summoned to a zone a link monster points to, while this monster is on the field, banish all cards on the field. All of them. Not just one, not just this one and other monsters, all of them. So your back row will disappear. You'll be left with only your hand, but your opponent as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but whatever. And once per turn during the standby phase of your next turn, after this card was banished by its own effect, special summon it back. That's good. But I mean, it's risky. We have Borrowed Furious Dragon. He is a mad boy. This guy right here, sorry for the camera being blurry, needs 2 Dark Dragon monsters, so I wouldn't say Super Poly is good to make it, but you do have a fusion spell coming up in this deck. Anyways, you can target a monster your opponent controls, you control, and 1 card your opponent controls, sorry, and destroy both. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Dark Link monster in your graveyard and special summon it, but cannot activate its effect this turn. And you can use each of these effects once per turn. Honestly, it's not bad. I would probably use this to try to OTK the opponent or get rid of a very annoying monster, but you guys will understand why it's not perfect a little later. Because, you know, I'll explain later. We'll put it aside for now. We have Guarddragons Dragon. It's okay. I think it's needed to be decent, but whatever. It's a Boral linked to Dark Dragon, so it's necessarily a good thing to have a Boral monster here. You need 2 Dragon monsters, including at least 1 Rocket. And you can discard a card, target a face-up monster on the field. You cannot special summon link 2 or lower monsters from the extra deck during the rest of this turn, but you get to destroy the targeted monster. And then, if it was a link monster, you special summon any number of rocket monsters with different names from your hand or graveyard, up to the link rating, so you don't have to summon the same amount. And that's about it. It's good to, you know, when your opponent got rid of your first big link boy, you can use this to bring back some materials from your grave. Or you can just bring back its own materials, but you know, whatever. Silver Rocket Dragon. This card I love. 1900 rocket monsters, so the field spell helps it become over 2000. That is just so great against a lot of decks nowadays. When a link monster's effect is activated that targets this face-up card, so basically the effect of any rocket, quick effect, you can destroy this card and look at your opponent's extra deck and banish 1 card from it. Banish 1 card from it. Whoa, that is insane. You only get to use once per turn this effect, but if your opponent plays a 1-of that they really need, banish it, and your opponent will suffer the wrath of your rockets. This is a great card. It also has the same effect as other rockets to special summon from your deck if it was destroyed by battle or card effect, so that's pretty good. This card, very worth having. The Rocket Tracer as well is worth having in this deck because it's a level 4 tuner, very easy to use to make your Savage. Quick effect, you can target 1 face-up card you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon a rocket monster from your deck. So if you have a way to have this on your field, and you use quick launch or whatever else to get another rocket, even if it's not the right level, you just destroy your other monster, use the effect of special summon at level 4 to get your obvious Savage summon, but also this, wait, does it work? No, it's only when link monsters target, right? But this also allows to special summon from the deck at the end phase from the destruction of the other rocket. So that's not bad either. Not bad at all, actually. And we have Absolute Dragon. Honestly, this card I like. I wouldn't play 3 in the deck, maybe 1 or 2. But if you control a rocket monster, sorry, you can special summon this card from your hand. But you can only do that once per turn this way. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a rocket monster from your deck to your hand. It's sad that it says monster, but it's still pretty darn good. Honestly, if you summon a rocket and you don't have anything else, usually your turn will end there and you will be destroyed next turn, like demolished. But this card, special summon from your hand, you get to link up to a link 2, and then this guy will search for another rocket monster from your deck to your hand, which might help, maybe not, but maybe it will. If you use this with the rocket intended to use for a summon, you can make Quad Boral. And with the search, you get a rocket that you can discard to destroy something from your opponent's field. And then, this guy, if the opponent's monster was a link 2 or above, will allow you to recycle the rocket you discarded and the rocket used to make him into onto your field, and then you can link up to a link 4 Boral monster because you have 3 monsters overall. That is why I like this card so much in this specific combo. Obviously, you can use it for other combos, but I mean, that is such an easy link 4 monster after blowing up your opponent's monster, and it literally just cost you 2 cards, 3 cards. I mean, no, yeah, just 2 cards. 2 cards and you get to blow an opponent's monster, make a link 4, and you still have your 3 other cards in your hand, or 4 other cards because your opponent already had a monster, which meant you were going second, so you have 4 other cards in your hand. If some of those were hand traps, your opponent might have only had the 1 link monster on their field, because you stopped them from going further into their combos. That is such a great combo right here. 0 Day Blaster. Tribute 1 Dark Link monster, then target cards on the field equal to its link rating and destroy them. So if your opponent just links up into a big thing, or they just get a lot of monsters with effects that will blow up your link 4 monster, or link 3 or link 2, because you have some link 2 dark monsters here, but whatever. If your opponent is about to board wipe you, might as well just tribute the target they had and blow their stuff up. So I would probably play one of these, not much more. But here we have our 7 foils. Insane amount of foils, guys. That is just so much. Was the Salomon Great deck that foil? I don't think so. It had 1 Ultra and 3 Supers? No, 2 Ultras and 3 Supers. I can't remember the second. Oh yeah, the Mirage Stalio. Okay, it had 2 Ultras and 3 Supers. This here has 7 foils. Anyways, Rocket Recharger, a new card. If a dark monster you control that was special summoned from the extra deck is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to basically target one of the destroyed cards and special summon the dark monster from your graveyard with a different original name than the targeted one. But you can only use this effect once per turn, and while you control a dark monster special summon from the extra deck, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attack. It's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. I mean, it could be useful maybe at 1 because it's a rocket and it does have some effects, but it's not that good. We have Explode Rocket Dragon. When a Link monster's effect is activated that targets this face-up card on the field, quick effect, you can destroy this card, then each player takes 2,000 damage. Each player! Why? Oh, why? During the end phase, if this card is sent to the graveyard because it was destroyed on the field or battle or card effect, and sent to the graveyard this turn basically, you can special summon a rocket monster from your deck. So, I mean, it's a rocket. It's a level 7 rocket. I don't think I'm gonna play this card, but it's still pretty interesting. Some Dragon, I like this card. It reminds me of Battle Fader from when I was younger. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then gain life points equal to half this card's defense. This attack position card cannot be destroyed by battle. Big brain plays. Your opponent attacks. If they have a lot of monsters, special summon this in attack, you gain 1200 and you can protect yourself for 400 per attack if you have an empty board, which is something that happens with rockets. They're not very defensive. They're more offensive. Like, very offensive, actually. But you can also special summon this in defense, gain 1200 and block. If your opponent didn't have anything over 2400 or only had 1 and they already attacked with it, just stall. This, I mean, such an easy use card. We have a reprint, we have another reprint, reprint, but nice reprint because I think it was only a super before. Easy to get, but still very good in this deck. Reprint. I think this is a reprint as well. It's a level 6 tuner. I don't really know why we want to play this in this deck, but, you know, whatever. Reprint, and honestly, I don't like these cards in here. They're decent cards, don't get me wrong. Dragon Knight of Creation and Paladin of Felgrand are decent cards, but they rely on having level 7 or 8 dragon monsters, and let's be very honest here. You have this guy you might want to play twice, okay? So let's just have 2 level 7s in this deck. And this guy you might play once. You don't really want this guy in your deck. Why would you burn yourself 2,000 when you can have something like this that just blows your opponent's shit up? Or, I mean, why? Why would you want to burn yourself 2,000? And you have this guy that's level 8, I believe. So, I mean, why? Why? You could use your Guarddragons in this deck, obviously. So you could special summon Crystal Wing from your extra deck, or Red Eyes. No, wait, Red Dragon Archfiend, whatever, Abyss, or whatever. I mean, those would be targets. But if you read this from your hand or deck, that does not work with the extra deck, guys. And here, when this card destroys an opponent's monster of a battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can send a level 7 or 8 dragon monster from your deck to the graveyard. Why? Why would I do that? This guy needs to be sent to the graveyard to search, so that's interesting. But this has to destroy something by battle. It's 1800 and it's not boosted by the field spell. Useless. Useless. Keeper of the Shrine is decent. World Chalice Guarddragon, nice reprint right here. And Raiden, also a decent reprint. Boral Supplier is a meh card. It's not bad, but you need some specific conditions that I do not intend on, you know, accomplishing. During each standby phase, if you control a Boral Link monster, you can target a Rocket monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but destroy it during the end phase. And you can only use this effect once per turn. Okay, this, if you play, you don't play more than one because it's not that great. Boral Link monster. So this guy will not count. So we have this guy here. And honestly, 1000 attack will not survive your opponent's turn. And this is during each standby phase. So you would get a summon from the standby phase during your opponent's turn. But you know, you have this and one rocket monster. It's not good, guys. It's not good. And I mean, if you use Booster Dragon is not a Boral, Triple Burst is not a Boral. Well, spoilers, guys. Great reprint right here. We'll just put those aside, I guess. This is just promotional stuff. Borolo Dragon is a Boral, and you might want to have it on your field, but it's not worth leaving alone on your field and then being like, oh, okay, I'll special summon a rocket monster from my graveyard. Okay, good. I mean, it's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong, guys. It's good because he can target, or it can target the monster you will special summon through this, and you can destroy it by its own effect, then target your opponent's stuff and blow it up. Nice. Very nice. But once you do that, what else? You have a Borreload on your field. You don't have anything else. And during the end phase, you'll summon one rocket. One rocket. I don't know. It's a very good card. Obviously, I would play one or two, but it lacks. If you have Boral Sword or Boral Guard, you might survive longer than just having Borreload, and that might be a better move, but they don't come in this deck. That just does not happen. But they will be reprinted soon enough, so I mean, you guys will be probably able to get them soon enough as well. We have Rapid Trigger, the card that will special summon or fusion summon your Furious Boy. And this card is interesting. Fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck by destroying fusion materials listed on it from your field only. But it can only attack monsters special summon from the extra deck. So I mean, if you have two rockets on your field, blow them up. Get your Furious Boy, and during the end phase, you'll get two summons. I mean, it's not bad, but they had to be on the field, and that's the downside of it all. Otherwise, you also have the effect that it can only attack monsters special summon from the extra deck, which is a little disappointing because this guy, you want it to attack. It's 3000 Beatstick. But also, it is unaffected by activated effects from any other monster special summon from the extra deck. That's good. That's good. It has protection now. It has protection. That is nice. You want that. But it's not a Link monster. So if it targets some rocket monsters, they will not blow up on your opponent's turn. So even if you destroy two monsters and you get special summons during your end phase, what then? But at least it's a quick play. So I mean, you can use this during your opponent's turn to prepare for your own turn. Or to, you know, if your opponent was about to blow your stuff up, somehow you could just make this and you get two summons and only this guy dies. And like, if your opponent used cards that send to the grave instead of destroying, that is a good way to run away from that. We have Squib Draw, so you can target a rocket monster you control, destroy it, and draw two. Quick launch, very, very good card. Very happy to see this reprinted. But you get to special summon a rocket monster from your deck. That's very good. We have Boot Sector Launch. Great field spell. Insane field spell. Sad to see terraforming at 1. But this card here, all rocket monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense. And you get to either special summon 2 rocket monsters with different names from your hand and defense. Or, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, special summon rockets up to the difference in from your graveyard in defense. That's pretty darn good. Burrow Regenerator is an equipped spell that special summons rocket from the grave. And that's about it. There's bonus effects, but you might not get to use them. Dragon Shrine, you want this. Yeah, this is actually very good because you can use this if you have no rockets in your hand at all. Use this on Absoluter, get a rocket from your deck to your hand, and boom. Easy peasy. Ruins of the Divine Dragon Lords and Return of the Dragon Lords. This maybe run 1. You do have at least 2 level 7s, maybe 3 if you're ballsy. And you do have this level 8 that you can bring back using this. So, I mean, it would be interesting. It's not a downside because it also has another effect, which is nice. Ruins of the Divine Dragon Lords is a good card overall, but, you know, you have to control level 7 or 8 Dragon Monster. And this guy you will not want to keep on the field. This guy you might, but it might not really happen much because it doesn't have much protection. Anyways, Polymerization, because a fusion quick play is not enough. We only have 1 fusion monster, you have 2 fusion cards in the deck. Sue me, I don't know why. Twin Twisters, very nice reprint here. Execute Protocols, I mean, it's an okay card. I'll just let you guys read it, rest my voice a bit. Nah, I'm kidding, I'm gonna read it. During each battle phase, you can banish a Dark Link monster from your graveyard, then target a Burrow monster you control. Until the end phase of this turn, it gains attack equal to the attack of the monster banished to activate this effect. And that's about it. It's good, but it's not great. If it was a continuous spell, it would be more interesting. Great reprint. Red Reboot is such a great reprint here. It was only printed as a super, but that set is long gone, I believe. It was Flames of Destruction, was it? It was... no, wait. Maybe. I don't remember. But, you know, it was a very needed reprint right here, because this can stop your opponent's infinite impermanences. It can stop their combo traps if they have any. It can stop a lot of things. It could stop your opponent from using... Floodgates, which is nice, because this deck needs a lot of summoning. A lot of it. We have Link Turret. When this card is activated, place 4 counters on it. Each time you take battle damage, it gains a counter. During your main phase 2, you can remove a counter and target a rocket monster in your graveyard and special summon it, but its effects are negated, and it gets banished when it leaves the field. And you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck except Dark Link monsters. Either turn you use this effect. But that effect is not a once per turn, so if you have 4 rockets in your graveyard, revive all 4, get a link 4, bang. Free stuff. Reprint, not great. Reprint, interesting, but not meta, but you know, it's still interesting. It would have been nice, though, to have more mirror forces in the deck. Like Storming or Quaking or whatever in here. I know this does not work with those 2 variants, but this should. It would be so much better if it could. We have Magic Cylinder. I mean, okay, that's a decent reprint, I guess. Not great, but this, an insane reprint. Insane reprint right here. Imperial Order. It's been printed a lot lately, like way too much, but it was in tournament packs and stuff. And if you guys don't have locals in your area, you buy your cards at Walmart or something, well, this is your chance of getting a great trap. Because let's be honest here, if you buy 3 of this deck, you might want to play 1 or 2 Twin Twisters, no polymerizations, maybe 1, maybe not, maybe 1, maybe not, 1 or 2, maybe none, maybe 1 if you're down. This you might want to play 2, this you might want to play 3, definitely 3, and this maybe 1 or 2, and this maybe 1 or 2, and this maybe 1 or 2. So that makes a lot of spells, okay? Which is kind of sad because this negates all spells, both sides. But once you have your board, once you have used all those spells to get your 1 or 2 link 4 monsters and get that fusion boy and get some back row and whatever, this card right here can stop your opponent from destroying your stuff. Easy peasy. Like, it's such a great stomper. And if your opponent was about to beat you and you didn't have squat, this could save you. I mean, if your opponent activates a spell that allows them to summon whatever big thing and you'd have nothing on your board, just negate their spell. Just try to wing it, get some rocket monsters, stall until you have a decent board, and then come back. But at least you'll have a chance. And that is why that is a very good reprint right here in this deck. So yeah, overall, very good structure deck. It lacks a little bit of support on the fast side, I guess. I mean, some of these cards are just ridiculously useless. Or they're not useless, but they're not helping go faster, you know? And in this day and age, you want to go faster. This goes fast. This is only after you've done your stuff, and if your opponent just blows your stuff up, you don't get to use it at all. And this helps you go fast. This helps you search, and that's about it. You have 3 cards that help you go fast. 3 cards that help you start off. And you have some cards like this guy here that helps you search, and you have a lot of support for the end of the turn. You have this guy that helps you start as well, I guess. But you have to have some other stuff in your hand as well. This card helps? Nah, it doesn't. Anyways, I mean, some cards help you start off, some cards help you extend, but there aren't many cards that help you start off that aren't monsters. And that is a big thing, because a lot of cards nowadays negate spells and traps. Especially spells, right, guys? So, going off with this deck is something that needs to occur, and if it doesn't, well, you're screwed. So, good luck with that, guys. But obviously, if you buy 3 of these, you will want to max out this. You will want to put at least 2 of these, and you will want to put at least 2 of these. Maybe get a terraforming to help search, so at least your deck will go a little faster. And this maybe twice, this definitely twice. This, if you have Savage, play it 2 times. If you don't, play it once, maybe, I don't know. It's good, but you need to have 2 rockets to make it worth having, and that's pretty much only happening with these 2 cards in the back here. Or maybe this guy, but if you use this, and you summon this, and then you need to summon a 3rd one, that's just a lot of hope in your hand, more than anything. But yeah, overall, pretty decent deck. I would at least buy 3 if you guys are starting, and if you're not starting and just want the reprints, might as well buy 1 or 2, because these reprints are interesting. And anyways, that concludes today's video. I've been going on for way too long. I'm sorry, guys, for making such a long video. Until next time, guys, it has been a pleasure, and Penem out.